Awesome. All right. Well, listen. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Welcome back to Wealthy and Worthy Wednesdays. So, I'm super glad to have y'all here today, right? And whether you're joining us live or catching us on the replay, before we jump in, I really want to ground us in this conversation, okay? I want you to be very clear about why this conversation is important, okay? So, since the new year, we've been intentionally slowing things down. We said, we're not doing the new year, new you, okay? We're not doing all of that, okay? We're not putting on that pressure. We talked about boundaries. We talked about discipline and how you are not the problem, right? That it's likely the systems and the environments that are um, not supporting you as well, right? We also had talked about clarity coming from being able to ask better questions instead of just kind of trying to force your way or push your way through. So we're not requiring more effort, right? And so today we're going to build on top of that again, right? Because there's a pattern that I see again and again with high achieving women, right? And it's not that you aren't capable or that you don't have the drive or that you don't know what you want. What's been happening is that you're trying to carry things alone that were never meant to be held alone. So for some of you, that might be your career. For others, it might be a leadership role, family responsibilities, healing, right? Or your next pivot, right? So here's where it gets good, right? Many women don't resist support because they don't want it. They resist it because they're tired of having to explain themselves in order to receive it, right? You're not getting support because you're tired of explaining why you need it. So today, we're exploring that conversation together, right? And so we're going to be focused today on what happens, right? What is the shift for women when they start to finally imagine being supported without having to explain or even justify their ambition, right? So we're not defending why we want more. We're not shrinking so other people can feel more comfortable. We're not overworking to prove that we deserve help, right? We are thinking about support that just naturally assumes that your ambition is valid, all right? So burnout does not come from ambition, okay? I need you guys to know that. It comes from misaligned environments and lack of support. So today we're going to be discussing what kinds of environments women actually need in order to maintain their ambition without burning out, okay? Not perfect environments, but supportive, responsive, and sustainable environments. So as we move through the conversation today, excuse me, I want to invite you to listen not for what you should be doing, but for what resonates as truth. All right. And as we close later, we'll have some reflection questions for you all to be able to walk away with. You don't have to have all the answers today. Okay. Awareness is enough. All right. So let's jump into it. I'm going to pass it off to my host, Miss Stephanie Austin. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. And like Dr. Tiana said, today our topic is about what becomes possible when you stop doing this alone. So today, ladies, because we're all about community and support, I want to first start off asking both of you, how are you feeling? I know that we live in this world where everyone always asks, how are you doing? But I like to ask, how are you feeling? Because I don't feel like that's the same question. So how are you all feeling today as we hop into today's episode? Whoever wants to go first.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm feeling energized today. I woke
Okay.
up in a really, I don't know, I woke up in a good space. Just I don't know this song. I don't know if you know this song. There's a song by Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran. It's called Everything Has Changed, and it's a very sweet song. It's all about just meeting someone, having new possibilities in your life, and like watching as they're kind of unfolding. And it was just on my heart today that everything's grown, everything's changed, and I just need to be into it. And it just felt really good and energizing. And I think for the first time in like a couple days, I woke up not feeling like spring into action anxious. So I really appreciated it actually. So thanks for asking, Stephanie.
Oh, you're welcome. What about you, Dr. Tiana?
Oh, I'm feeling like a winner today.
Okay.
I am We're really, really pumped today. Just really exciting weekend and um, have some really cool meetings. I actually ended up taking yesterday off because I just needed to ease into the week a bit. So feeling really, really good. How about you?
I'm feeling okay. And I just say okay because I woke up this morning with a bit of a migraine, which is never
Mhm.
fun. However, I feel good in my spirit. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and this morning she was walking around singing this song. I don't know if you guys have ever heard it before by Jonathan McReynolds called "God is Good." And one of the lyrics in the song says, "May your whole life prove that God is good," and she just kept saying it over and over again. And when I tell you, when it encouraged my spirit this morning, I'm like, you know what? We're going to go through today with that as our affirmation. Like, may our whole life prove that God is good. So, despite it all, I am feeling good today because God is proven in our lives that He is. Talana, I see you just joined us as well.
Yes.
I was
Hi.
asking the ladies how they're this morning. So, how are you feeling? Or this afternoon? I'm sorry. Maybe she can't hear me.
Muted.
I think she's adjusting in
All right,
still.
maybe I'll
Yeah.
Hey, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling quite well. I'm sorry, guys. I was kind of logged into the wrong link.
Yeah,
That's okay.
technology. We're
Oh my
here.
God.
We're
Well,
here for
great.
you.
Thanks for letting me in. I know I'm behind, but thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So, ladies, since today we're talking about not doing this alone and all about community, I would love to kind of hear about some of your personal journeys. First, by asking, where in your life have you in the past tried to carry something by yourself that you felt maybe was never meant for you to hold alone? And I'll start with you, Jeannie.
Oh, sure. Oh, I think so many things. Oh my goodness. I think off the top of my head, places where I've tried to carry things alone are consistently sort of task oriented type of things and forward movement, growth. I think somewhere along the lines, probably if I had to name it, like 8 or 9, I kind of decided that I was going to shoulder it. It was going to be me. I was going to have to be the one who made the change. I was going to have to be the one who selected different. I had to be the one who stayed focused and figured things out. Just comes from having, parents who struggle, and you become independent really very quickly, and you decide that the models around you, if they can't hold things up and the people around them are seeing that they can't hold things up and they aren't necessarily intervening, then you just decide that independence is it. So yeah, and I think it has always been like growing my life. Like I'm gonna have to grow it alone. Only me is gonna carry me the best way possible. And it is a lie. I can say that definitively now, but it's what I believe for a really long time.
I agree. And what about you, Talana?
For me, I think it was more so my healing process, right? So often we think that we can navigate healing on our own and we don't need anyone. And if we would just bear down, and sometimes we get stuck in the whole spiritual aspect of it too. Like if I could just pray it away. Right. But God did not just make us spiritual beings. We are also physical beings. And so just as much as we need the spiritual side of things, we also need the spiritual side. I mean, the physical side, which is like in-person connection. Someone like Jeannie, who is a licensed therapist that's educated and an expert in that area to help you navigate your feelings and your emotions. And so for me, I think I learned very quickly, especially through my DNA surprise, that I cannot do this alone. I need my people to help guide me through and help support me through as well. Not just guide, but those down times when I'm like crying, snotting on the floor, I need my girls there to help lift me up, or my kids or my husband or whoever that may be for you. So yeah, I would say definitely healing.
And what about you, Dr. Tiana?
Oh, jeez. Whew.
Eldest child speaking, eldest daughter.
I mean, yeah, being the oldest daughter, right? Like, I, it's so fascinating because I feel like I echo both Jeannie and Talana's responses, right? Like, being the oldest, with my parents divorcing at a young age and becoming a co-parent, right, with with my mom, right? Co-parenting at 11 is even just wild for me to even say that out loud right now, right? But you know, growing up in that way, right? And you're tasked with kind of having oversight of other people. I was the oldest of five. And so, you know, it was, you just did, right? You didn't, there wasn't a lot of thought about it, right? So even in thinking about like, oh, you know, what did you think that you had to do alone? I didn't think it. I actually really believed that that was just how you operated and that was how you showed up. And that is what made you useful and valuable in a family unit. That was just how you did it. And so I think it took a long time for me to realize like this is not working for me. And having pain, you know, really I think elevate that it wasn't working. And then once like figuring out it's not working, I think the hardest part is like, so now what? Right? like I'm clear that it's not working, but what do I do now? Like where do I go now? And so I did a variety of things. I started reading because I'm a reader. So I started getting books and I started, you know, back then there wasn't as much social media education. So I just started like watching different TV shows that would talk about healing. And then from there, I just started building community. And like Talana mentioned, like none of that stuff can happen in isolation. It really is a community that I feel like even when you're doing the work independently, it helps supercharge your results by being in community. So I, you know, yeah, I think some of us like to think we can do it ourselves, but I see the best results, the best transformation when we are doing it together. So
No, I absolutely agree. And Jeannie, I'm going to toss this over to you because I was reading this stat that said that 53% of women believe that they were socialized to be independent. And I think that plays a big part in it. But also when I think about my own experiences, right? Or I think about Tiana feeling like she was a co-parent at 11, or even the DNA surprise with Talana, I think sometimes even asking for help, it feels shameful, right? How
Absolutely.
can we as women, or even if men who are watching, how can we get beyond this shame to be able to say like, hey, I need community and I can't do this alone?
Absolutely. Well, I think, you know, Dr. Tiana Rogers does a great job of like ensuring that we understand that there are resources that are available to us, that somebody somewhere, fortunately, in this big wide world of billions of people, has experienced what you've experienced before. And I think oftentimes we come to this space where we're like, we're the only ones who can do this. We're the only ones who can make these things happen. And we also go a step beyond and we say things to ourselves like, we've got to wing it and just figure it out. You don't. Someone wrote about what happened. They chronicled the experience. They wrote about what happened, and they left it there for you to utilize. It's a wonderful thing. And if you think about your anchor points, you really can do a much better job of recognizing and understanding that. Shame is a feeling, and we have feelings, and I understand that. Sometimes we do need to sit in that and process that. That's one part. The other part, though, when we're ready to start taking action, is to really find the resources and utilize the resources to change. I do that by understanding my anchor points. There are things that anchor us, that ground us, and help us tell ourselves truths. Some of us, it's religion, right? So we go right to the Bible when we're lost. We know exactly where to go, right to the Word, right? Or right to our church community, or right to a trusted elder, right? Right to someone who we understand who has authority, who we know in some ways has wisdom, or get us in front of the people we need to see that will help us. Other people have anchors like family. I know that I have a family member who exists who has dealt with those same types of issues. Or maybe they haven't told me about them, but I also haven't asked the question. So I don't know. Do you know any things I didn't know my mother knew until I started asking questions?
Right.
It will, honestly, it will shock you. Things that I
Mhm.
never thought, because I just didn't have the instinct, I didn't have the impulse to ask my grandmother or ask my father. And I started talking to them, and they start giving all of this like incredible wisdom that doesn't require academia, doesn't require anything. It's just experiential data that they have to tell me how to move. Family's an anchor point. If friends are an anchor point, pick their brains. What do they know? What have they experienced? What have they read about that they can give you kind of the short version of it, right? Because our friends are fantastic like that. Talona and Dr. Tiana are amazing. I'm like, give me the short points. I need the bullets, you
Right,
know, because they
right.
have expertise in certain areas and they've already digested the information and they have the capacity to distill it for me so that I can then ingest it much more quickly. And it's sort of, it's that roundabout. So those are the things that we can do when we see ourselves lost popping up and experiencing shame. Sit in the feelings. Then, when we're ready to take action, find our anchor points and get the resources and the education to make different decisions.
No, I love that. And I think you just said something that I think is very important that we all realize is that knowledge is power, right? I mean, whenever you said that you were shocked at so many things that your parents basically had the answers to, and you had the questions, but you never even knew that they had the answers. And so, Dr. Tiana, for you, I'm just curious, even with the community of women that you work with, how can we as women learn how to make that shift to be able to even ask the right questions, even within our own communities, without feeling like we have to carry it all by ourselves?
Yeah. If I had to give you one thing, I would say remember your humanity.
Mm.
Because I think often the expectation comes because we inaccurately define ourselves.
Mm.
And when we do that, we miss the privilege that we have of being human and being in a world with other human beings, right? And it is normal and natural for human beings to be in community. And so when you understand that, then there's no shame attached to it. It's the benefits that come with you being a part of this community, right? And so you would naturally be able to share where those pain points are, or where you may feel lost or confused, or where you just maybe need somebody to just witness what's happening, right? Sometimes there's power in witnessing and being witnessed, and that happens in community. So yeah, I would say just remember your humanity.
Mm.
I love that. That was so good because I think that is where we as a society are lacking right now is that we have this whole world of social media where it's very performance based at times, right? And so you lose sight that the people that you're looking at, you're scrolling past every single day, they're human. They're having their own human experiences. And so thank you for saying that. I think that's really important. And so even going down that vein, Talana, my question for you is, when you went through your DNA surprise, right? I'm sure there were times where you maybe felt shame, maybe you felt if you talked too much, people would question you. How were you able to tap into your own humanity to one, be a witness, but also to, have someone else come and witness to you as well?
Ooh, that's a loaded question for me. So I think the most important thing is knowing who you are. I think with the DNA surprise, of course, your identity is totally shaken, right? And the first thing I had to do was come back to myself. So like when the ladies are talking about humanity, it's more so remembering like who you are at heart, who you are from the deepest depth of your soul. Like who are you? I had to pretty much rediscover that for myself,
Mm.
right? And if you don't know who that is for yourself, no one else can determine that for you. That's between you and your God. Okay. So who are you? What do you desire? What are the things that make you light up? What is your purpose? Like all of those things. And for me, community was important, but I could not gather my community until I came to terms with me,
Mm.
my hurt, my pain, my triggers, um, for me, the DNA surprise, like I said, totally disrupt my whole life, my whole world, my identity of who I was, who I thought I was, who I wanted to be. Because even in that, I realized that who I wanted to be was attached to who I thought other people wanted me to be. And with the whole disruption of my identity, I identified that I was actually becoming somebody that I wasn't.
Oh, wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Becoming somebody that I was not supposed to be the person I was becoming.
Hmm.
And so the blow up allowed me to have a clean slate to build. And my foundation now is what it was supposed to be from the beginning. And so now I'm able to, and so that community is important, that humanity is important. Having people around you that are not yes men. I need somebody that's going to tell me the doggone truth. And Dr. Jeannie, I'm calling her Dr. Jeannie because that's how I feel like she is sometimes in my life. Dr. Jeannie, let's call Jeannie, because she's going to give it to you raw, and there is no trying to run around it or sprinkle sugar on top of it. No, let's deal with the thing. Let's deal with it now, and that's grounding. I don't care how high I get. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care. I know my girls are going to center me, and you have to create that circle for you and have that circle of trust in somebody, somewhere. You have to find that. Otherwise, without God and my girls, I don't know what. I don't know what I'll be doing out here. So yeah, that's a long answer, y'all. I'm sorry, but
No,
it's a loaded question.
yeah, we love that.
It was good. And I actually love whenever you talked about coming to terms with me, because that's kind of where I wanted to go with next. I think a big part of coming to terms with ourselves is being able to establish boundaries, right? And I know we talk about boundaries a lot, but what would it be like to be in a space where your boundaries are reinforced instead of questioned, Dr. Tiana?
Oof.
What's the question? Wait. The question was, what would it be like?
Yeah, well, yeah. If you were in a space where your boundaries are reinforced instead of questioned.
Oh man, it would be like freedom.
Yeah.
Right? Because remember, boundaries protect love. Okay? So it is the boundaries are the distance at which I can love me and love you too. Right? So when you think about that, the environments that allow you to show up in love, right? They are everything. they allow you to experience the full spectrum of having human connection and being supported, and I think in a lot of ways even just being seen, right? Because often when we are sharing something like that or we're establishing a boundary, it's really us trying to communicate something important to somebody. And so usually the confirmation of that is not just that I heard you, but it's that what you actually said meant something to me. Right? So being able to get that type of feedback back by having that type of community support and reinforce those boundaries for you, or even call you back to those boundaries if you forget them, it's everything. It's everything. And it gives you the freedom to show up in the fullness of who you are.
Yep. No, I love it. And so I'm going to toss it over to you, Jeannie, because there's a lot of conversation. There's always conversation about boundaries, right? We've talked about it a lot and you see it online. But what I'm hearing is that a lot of women and even men seem to think that boundaries are walls, right? Could you define what boundaries mean? Because I think people are just throwing it around, right? They'll say, oh, that's my boundary. And then they totally cut you off. And it's like, no, that's not always necessary. Like a boundary is not saying, you know what, here's my wall, don't come past it. Could you break it down a little bit better for us to be able to understand what exactly boundaries actually are?
Absolutely. I think people struggle with this all the time because what you're describing just now is not a boundary, it's a rule, right? There's rules that we create, and rules are things like, don't do this, you can't do this, stay away from that, don't touch me here. And while they can also double over, right? These things don't need to be mutually exclusive by any means. Boundaries are about an understanding of your established values. It's about saying, I value this. This is important to me. This means something to me. Here's what I will do in order to protect it. Here's how I will show up. in order to be protective of those things. Meaning, I'm not saying to someone, hey, I value, no phones at the dinner table, right? That's one of my values. Family time should be uninterrupted, right? And so you have a guest that comes over and they bring a phone to the table. A rule would be you need to leave the table. You can't be at this table with that phone, right? Boundaries are, hey, it's a reminder, hey, we value, no phones at the table, uninterrupted family time. Is that something that you can provide? Would that be okay for you? It's checking in and saying those things. Would love if that was possible. If the person says, no, no problem. That's not disrupting my boundary. I'm still not going to be answering phones. I'm going to be demonstrating, and I'm going to, I have my kids, I have my family system. I'm going to be demonstrating that I support this for myself and for my family. It's not about controlling people, right? It's about sharing our values and sharing what we will do to protect those. So we verbalize our boundaries, right? Well, first we understand them for ourselves.
Right.
Then we verbalize them for other people, right? Then we allow and then reinforce should there be an overstepping of boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
And
it.
then is there a shift after that though? So like, and I'm asking for the people because I know this may be a question that they're thinking, okay, once you've expressed that boundary or reinforced it, right? And the boundary is not respected, then what?
We always adjust, always. For most people in my life, there is a very assertive boundary that is in place, meaning I'm very clear on it. I stick to it, in a nice way that's really like, I'd say almost like moderately, like I'm not too stringent, I'm not too strict, right? That's how everybody gets it first time round. People who I've known a long time, who I love dearly, very much porous boundaries. So it's like, that's not a big deal. Like, I value this by all means, but I'm super duper flexible. I feel like I don't got to be too stringent with Dr. Tiana. I'm be too stringent with Talona. They know me. They understand. Like if something's going on, we're good. I know I'm safe. I know I am protected. With people who are in violations, who you're consistently experiencing that you set boundaries with them, means you're saying to them, hey, this is my value. This is what I'm going to let you know consistently means a lot to me. They're overstepping. Then we need to have extremely rigid boundaries. That's when we get to the point where we're like, okay, I've asked you in conversation. I've said, I do not feel comfortable when the volume gets too loud or when you are using obscenities. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe in those moments. You can use all the obscenities that you want. You can talk as loud as you want. With other people, that's your way. But with me, I'm not able to tolerate that. If you're consistently tolerating that, you are not protecting boundaries. You are not showing up as reinforcing. A person who has set that boundary and has said, this is what I need to feel valued, this is what I need to feel safe, is someone who says, okay, our volume's getting a bit loud right now. Can we bring it down? Are we able to bring it down? Volume continues. Okay, I'm not going to engage in the conversation any longer until we can get the volume together. I'm going to go take a break. I'll come back and talk to you later, or we can talk about this another time. Obscenities are coming and rolling in. Okay, we're no longer able to speak, you and I alone. Maybe at some point we could speak, but we'll have to have a third party who's involved going forward because you're just not able to maintain in the way that I've said I value. I'm good with you doing that. That's all you, be you, but I can't engage in the conversation. I'm not able to do this with you. We are not both protected in this scenario. Where you're comfortable, I'm not. So that's where we are.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope everyone's taking notes because I think we all can get a little bit more clear every single day on the boundaries that we set and also even the rules. And so, lady, our time together has quickly wrapped up, but before we end today, we're coming to Atlanta very soon, a couple months, all together for the Wealthy and Worthy Live. And so there may be someone who's watching right now who doesn't have community and they feel like they have to go through life alone. Talona, we're going to start with you. What advice do you have for that woman who feels like she has to go at this thing called life alone?
Listen, all I have to say is You need to connect yourself with people like us. Because I say that, and I don't say it arrogantly or anything like that, because we have fought to reach this point. I
Mhm.
say it to say, when you don't know how to do something, what do? You find someone that knows how to do it and you learn from them. That is what I would say to the ladies. If you don't have a nice friend circle, a good trusted community around you, and you don't know how to do it, come. We will show you how. We have done it successfully, and we have done it successfully for many, many years. And so I just want to say to that lady, like, listen, we are in the room. We will be there for you. Come and join us and let us show you how it's done. Period.
Absolutely.
Yes, I love it. What about you, Jeannie?
Absolutely. I think the first thing I would tell her in her aloneness is just because I'm the coach who's about right aligning. And to align, we have to first search our heart. So if she is alone in the moment, I would say to her, look inward, listen inward to what you are experiencing. Many times that inner compass is what can lead us to where we need to go. If I'm of the impulse, if I'm having the intuition that I feel deeply alone, I feel lonely. I feel unseen. I feel unknown. It's the signal that I need to put myself in a position to be seen. It's the signal that I am looking for and wanting for connection. It is the signal that community is calling to me. I know it feels pressure. I know it feels uncomfortable and overwhelming. And you just are like, I don't know what to do about it. But like, go deeper into that feeling because it's going to be what pulls you into action. I don't want her to just look away. I actually want her to listen inward into that aloneness, into that loneliness, and let it become strong enough that it will then propel action.
Oh, that's so
Love
good.
that.
And
Yep.
we'll end with you, Dr. Tiana. What advice do you have for the women who are coming to Atlanta for Wealthy and Worthy?
Listen, wealthy and worthy is my love letter to you.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. It's the reminder that we haven't forgotten about you, God hasn't forgotten about you, and there is power, right, in being seen and being supported, and you are worthy of that. And there's nothing more that you need to do that would make you more worthy. You just are. And
Yeah.
so for me, it really is going to be a sacred time for us to just be. Yes, yes, we are going to give you some strategy for working less and earning more because that is what I'm always talking about. But I'm also going to show you how to do it in a way that allows you to still have joy, to still have ease, and to still have peace that we all are looking for. And so, yeah, like Talana said, like we've been at this for a long time, and we have decided that it is more blessed if we break it and we share it. And so that is what Wealthy and Worthy Live is going to be.
I love it. I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to see all of you all who will be joining us in Atlanta. It's going to be such an amazing time, and most importantly, it'll be your opportunity to get connected to an amazing community. So we hope you're already thinking about your plans for getting down to Atlanta if you don't already live there, because you will not want to miss out on it. But ladies, as always, it has been great talking to you all, and we will see you all next week.
A pleasure. Thank you. Bye, everybody.